We start off with Shinsui getting appointed as head captain of Squad 1, and by default, the captain of the Gotator team. Ichigo is then seen practicing breathing underwater at the healing springs under Kirinji's supervision. Kirinji punches Ichigo for complaining and sees that he has already healed all of his wounds. He then tells Ichigo that he is ready to go to the next place. At this time, Renji wakes up and also tells Kirinji that he is ready. Kirinji also punches him, and Renji didn't budge. Kirinji then tells Kazu and Kazuhiro that they can now remove their clothes. Kazu and Kazuhiro are the ones who helped Ichigo remain underwater. It turns out that the healing springs can have an adverse effect if someone stays in there for too long. It is shown that both Kazu and Kazuhiro has suffered some damages to their muscles, and they are actually over-recovered. Kirinji expresses that he is impressed by both Ichigo and Renji for being able to remain naked in the spring. Kirinji then finds that Ichigo struck back unknowingly and hurt his hand when he punched him, and he exclaims, "So that's why Soul King likes Ichigo." Shinsui then explains to the higher-ups that he wants to teach Kenpachi Zaraki, the art of the sword. The higher-ups don't want to make Zaraki any stronger, but have no choice. Shinsui reveals the first Kenpachi will teach Zaraki, Unohana Yachiro. Ichigo and Renji are then seen arguing in the air, and Renji finds Kon inside Ichigo's clothes. Kon buffs up and cushions their fall to Gaton Palace. Gaton Palace is the food palace. Hikafune, the captain that resides in Gaton Palace, then makes a huge banquet for both Renji and Ichigo. While eating, Ichigo feels guilty of how well they're being treated, but Renji pulls him back to reality. He explains that it is part of what they need to do in order to get back to Serete, in order for them to actually have a chance at defeating the Stern Ritters. A more slender woman then appears, and Ichigo and Renji does not recognize her. Apparently, Hikafune loses weight when she's cooking because she uses her own spiritual pressure. She explains that all of Squad Zero has contributed to Soul Society's history. In her case, she created substitute soul pills. Pills that are used to transfer Ryotsu from one person to another. She transferred Ryotsu in Ichigo and Renji through her food. When they were done eating, Hikafune then tells Renji and Ichigo that she does not know what the next captain will do to them. That captain, who resides in Hu Palace, Uetsu Namaiya, the person who created the Zanpakutos. Zaraki then arrives at the central great underground prison without his eye patch to train with Unohana. The place is called Nuken, a place seemingly endless, so Zaraki can fight freely without constraint. Unohana says Zaraki have no strength. Zaraki apparently left a wound on Unohana's chest, and the scar on Zaraki's face was actually from Unohana. And then we see that Unohana was actually the very first captain of Squad 11 under the original Gotei 13, which was said to be the strongest captains in all of Serete's history. Unohana apparently was a criminal before Yamamoto noticed her skills. She knows all schools of swordsmanship and all sword techniques, and she named herself Yachiro. Shinsui knows that if Unohana and Zaraki fights, one of them will have to die. We then see Yachiro, Zaraki's little Yachiro, finding his eye patch on a pillow. Isane then finds Unohana's letter. We then see Unohana using spikes and disarming Zaraki. Unohana implies Zaraki has gotten weaker. Kenpachi then admits that he used to admire Unohana. He remembers their first fight where he actually felt fear for the first time and also actually enjoyed a fight. Zaraki sheds a tear that he will die there without defeating Unohana. Unohana kills Zaraki by piercing his neck, but then he wakes up with his Sanpaku against Unohana's. He can't understand what happened, but he chose to focus on the fight instead. Unohana monologues to herself. Zaraki won't die. He gets stronger every time he escapes death. This is the sin you imposed on yourself, and also my sin. Overall, this is another great episode from Bleach. We can feel the weight of responsibility on Shinsui's back, that he is now the captain of the Gotei 13. And also at the Healing Springs, we get sort of a nudge towards somewhat of a hidden potential that both Ichigo and Renji has for staying in the Healing Springs for that long without any protective gear. And that I think that's amazing, especially with um, Ichigo's Ryatsu sort of have it's it's sort of a reflex that he unconsciously defends himself all the time. That's why Kiryo's hand got hurt when he punched Ichigo. I wish we got to know Hikefune a bit more. Hopefully, we get to spend more time with her in future episodes. She seems to be a very interesting character, and you've seen the video. It's obviously there. It's huge. Her Ryatsu is huge. Anyway, yeah, transferring her Ryatsu to Ichigo and Renji to sort of help them, I think, grow stronger and maybe unlock their potential. That's very interesting. Uh, I love that we get to learn more about Cerete's history through uh, the captains of Squad Zero, and of course, it's also very interesting to know Unohana's back backstory of sorts. So yeah, that devilish look that he gave Zaraki the moment he arrived, Zaraki actually acknowledging the power that he will face when he went to Unohana at the underground prison. He didn't bring his eye patch with him. He just took it off already because he knew he's gonna need his full power to actually defeat Unohana. I think that's great. The name Yachiro, I hope it gets explained because Unohana actually named herself Yachiro as well. So yeah, that's gonna get confusing with Zaraki's little Yachiro. Yeah, the fight so far has been pretty tamed. The animation quality is very good, but the fight in itself, nothing too spectacular about it. It's more of sort of building up on its momentum. I think this is gonna be a different fight. I don't think it's gonna be flashy. I think it's going to be more horrific based on the location. Unohana's face is the stuff of nightmares, and to some fans, she's their waifu. I think they'll change their mind once they see this episode. That's uh, that's very scary. That's scarier than Saraki's normal face. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode. I want to get to know more about what Unohana said in regards to Zaraki getting stronger every time uh, he escapes death. So, and basically, Zaraki's a Saiyan. Same with Vegeta and Goku. He's a Saiyan now. Anyway, jokes aside, yeah, I want to know sort of what this like a blood pact that he she has with Zaraki, that Unohana and Zaraki has with each other. Like um, there was an implication in Unohana's monologue that they're sort of tied by some force, and I want to get to know that throughout their fight. I hope we get a bit more monologue or a bit more story and lore for these two characters. I'm very excited to see the next episode, and I hope you guys are too.